Just a quick reaction video. I was listening to Jim of Self-Researched NBA Facts and also Sports and Fitness Rants while I was out running today. And I had a couple of additional thoughts that were inspired by their original thoughts. SNFR said that LeBron fans claimed if anyone else had won, we would have considered the 2020 chip legitimate. I don't agree. I don't, care about anybody that much right now, any teams that much anymore. But you could argue that I'm biased against LeBron James. So, we'll never be able to prove how I feel or how I would have felt for another team. But what we can prove is that I didn't give a shit about the 2020 chip. And what else is true is that you didn't either. You were locked inside and you still didn't watch it. I mean, that tells you that people didn't take it seriously because you pay attention to things that you take seriously and you tune into things that you take seriously. We're not talking about a small decrease in viewing. We're talking about historic lows. The lowest television rating since ABC began airing the series 50 years prior. The 6-game series averaged 7.45 million viewers. Holy crap. Nobody cared because people didn't take it seriously. You could say, people had other things in their lives to worry about. You were still stuck at home. And if you were a sports fan, an NBA fan, you probably would have found a way to watch it. People certainly found a way to watch The Last Dance. If the fans don't care, it means something. Let's move on to Daryl Morey because, he's a bit polarizing. He's said and done some things that, make him unlikable to many and liked by others. But no matter how you feel about him, if you remove feelings from it, I'm not sure you can claim that he's lying because he didn't even necessarily state his opinion. He said that everyone he speaks to around the league privately agrees that it doesn't truly hold up as a genuine championship, which means we're not even talking about his opinion. We're talking about him conveying how everyone else feels. Now, you can say that he's lying entirely about that, which would be really weird, but I guess possible. And he goes on to say that, what should be remembered is that the NBA did a really good job of trying to push forward in the middle of something as crazy as the pandemic, even though the championship will forever be marked by an asterisk. And I have to agree, wow, the NBA found a way to make it happen, but I'm not really happy about it because I don't think it counts. I don't think it was played like a real championship. I don't think teams were taking it seriously like a real championship. And I don't think fans were taking it seriously as a real championship. And I'll tell you what, it's exactly what LeBron James needed at that time and place following a dreadful prior season. And guess what? The only season that wasn't pretty much complete crap in LA. Once again, we have these successes of LeBron James that look like anomalies, not the norm, not a consistent thing. It's like, how did this happen? Because, the year before he looked like he was going to win too? No. How about the year after? No. I forever say that 2016 was an anomaly. I think that the Cavaliers were demonstrating how weak the East was, considering that they just got the crap beat out of them most of the times that they went to the West. But then they ended up not playing the Warriors' actual team and got a lot of help from the refs. And I really hate the 2016 thing because that's another time that LeBron James should have just disappeared into an abyss. He had his bullshit in Miami, and then he would have faded away. And then that anomaly of 2016 not only kept him alive, but then people like Nick Wright started and himself started saying ridiculous things like that third chip that I don't count propelled him past Jordan. Forget even talking about when he passed Kobe, whenever that was. Anyway, I think the league did more for themselves trying to stop losing money. You might have argued, hey, they did it for the fans, but the fans didn't tune in, so maybe not. All right, I went in a very different direction than where I was intending because the original point was to address people who say that we would have taken it seriously if someone else had won. And we set all that aside. And here's what remains at the end of the day. If you want to make arguments like that, you're probably the type of people who will also say, hey, that time off helped other players too. Well, guess what? There are two people in the entire league that it was going to help the most. Street clothes and old street clothes. That's who LeBron James should be called, old street clothes, because he's not in his uniform that much more often than Anthony Davis is. Now, we never know what might have happened. Maybe Anthony Davis would have been resilient. Maybe LeBron James would have been resilient, just so happened to resist injury for the rest of the 2020 season. But we don't know because that's not what happened. There was a huge amount of time off, and the two guys most known. Okay, you know what? Let's be honest. You only know Anthony Davis for getting injured, but the reality is that LeBron James was injured all the time too. If anyone benefited from that time off to be able to play through the playoffs, it's got to be those two guys. Statistically speaking, comparing them to other people in the league, you can't win an argument that other people benefited more than those two. Therefore, there's a strong argument to be said they don't win that year either. And LeBron sure as hell doesn't win without Anthony Davis. We tend to only mention Anthony Davis. I think he was the best player on that team, but we overlook a lot of the other talent on that team. I've started several videos trying to point out specifics about how great the other players on that team were. But one that I find intriguing is Danny Green, because a story I hear a lot is that he didn't play very well in the playoffs. But the reality is that the Lakers went out and got Danny Green from the previous year's championship team. I mean, how do you overlook something like that? Danny Green was on the Raptors just the year before when they won the chip as their number one three-point shooter. Oh, that's no big deal? What else is a big deal? Well, I would say it's a big deal that when Danny Green debuted on the Lakers, he led the team with 28 points in 32 minutes on 10 of 14 field goals and 7 of 9 three-pointers. That's the most points in the Lakers franchise history for a debut, breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record previously. Oh, wow, he's terrible. Danny Green has also won with 3 different teams, by the way, which puts him on par with the guy you guys call the GOAT. Not so special after all, LeBron. Let's get to something that self-researched NBA facts made me think about, and that's the glorification of LeBron getting big numbers while losing in the finals. Imagine just applying that criteria to Michael Jordan. It's almost as if you're putting Michael Jordan down for having the winning formula. I mean, would you guys praise Michael Jordan more if he had big numbers, but it cost the team? Like, he played the way that was necessary in order for the team to win. LeBron James obviously did not. Michael Jordan holds to this day some of the craziest stats you've ever heard accomplished in games. So don't tell me that Michael Jordan couldn't have selfishly put up more shots and made it about him and his stats while causing his team to lose. He could have done it. And according to you fanboys, that's what you have to do in order to be in the GOAT conversation, because winning apparently doesn't get you the edge in the GOAT conversation. Fuck winning. Oh, the age of glorifying losing. Anyway, there's more to say. We'll get to it on the Sunday show, but I just wanted to add my 2 cents.